And the fact that they have multiple of these books too, it shows that they were not only financially wealthy enough to afford these, because these were not cheap books, especially in Nellie's edition. It has this beautiful red binding, right? And that must have cost a lot of money back then. But it also shows that they were invested in the Anglican Church. At the time, the Anglican Church was losing a lot of its membership because it was a British institution.
Welcome to The Secrets of Washington's Archives. In this video series, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Washington Presidential Library by exploring the books Washington and his family used, held here at Mount Vernon. George Washington and his family were practicing Anglicans. But we don't know much about George Washington's daily devotions, but thanks to two surviving prayer books from the family collection held here at Mount Vernon, we can tell a little something more about what daily religious life may have been like for the Washington family. Joining me here today to talk about the early Anglican Church and George Washington's religious beliefs is Jennifer Snyder. Jennifer is the classroom resources specialist here at Mount Vernon. These books are really unique for many reasons, one of which is this is one of the only books we have with Martha Washington's signature. So to start us off, can you tell me, for people who might not be familiar with the Anglican or Episcopalian churches, what is the Book of Common Prayer?
Yeah, so the Book of Common Prayer is a liturgical text used by the Anglican Church, and it dictates how each church service and prayer life goes. And the idea behind this is that the British Empire is so large, right? And there are so many different Anglican churches. It really makes every single service uniform and makes sure that the clergymen who are preaching the services are preaching according to Anglican tradition. This revision in particular was created after much debate in the 1780s. You know, the Anglican Church in America split from the British Anglican Church after America split from England in the Revolution. And so the British Book of Common Prayer had oaths to the king, to Parliament, it had prayers to the king in Parliament, and a lot of Anglican church members, in particular Patriot church members, wanted to omit those oaths. And so by doing so, they needed to create a new revised American version of the Book of Common Prayer, which is what we have here. George Washington was a very private individual, right? He attended church. They both were Anglican. He actually served on the vestry of the Anglican Church. Washington, really provided financially for the church up until the Revolution. And then after the Revolution, in 1784, he abruptly resigns from the vestry. Doesn't provide much reasoning for it. He just sends a letter saying, "This is my resignation." And after the Revolution, he attends church in New York and in Philadelphia. But it's noted that Washington actually doesn't take communion anymore. And communion is a very special rite in the Anglican Church, affirming your faith. But at the end of every single service, before communion was served, Washington would get up and walk out. And apparently he was called out on this a couple times, to the point where he just stopped attending church on those Sundays. And so Martha Washington would still go to church, but she would stay for the communion, and George would send a carriage after her. Martha was very devout. She read from the Book of Common Prayer and prayed at least once a day, if not more. And so she wanted to make sure that this Anglican tradition was also passed on to her children and her grandchildren. And so they write that she was a very devout woman, a very devout Anglican member, and they all got their faith from her and her upbringing.
What is so wonderful about Nellie's prayer book that we have here is that she writes in it, like she wrote in so many of the books that she inherited, but she writes in it that Martha prayed from this book twice a day since 1789, and 1789 is, of course, the date that Martha's prayer book was published. So it's just a remarkable glimpse into Martha's daily devotions.
In each prayer book, you have a schedule of prayers. And so the fact that, Martha Washington wrote her name in the front of this book, which means it was hers. She used it. It wasn't just George's, it wasn't Nellie's, it wasn't anybody else's, it was hers. But it also has a schedule of the daily prayers. And so by looking at this book, we can tell that Martha prayed either these exact prayers or something similar every single day. And we can really tell a lot about her prayer life, which is a rare thing, but also really awesome.
And in Nellie's, one of my favorite details of it is in the back of the book, she's hand sewn an additional prayer into it. If you're interested in learning more about the Washington's religious beliefs and their participation in the Anglican Church, please be sure to join us for the podcast companion, The Secrets of Washington's Archives, available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.